I want it all day long.
Hello and welcome to another Tech Talk with Ricky here at Rickydees Productions. My name is Ricky and today Austin decided to be in the video, so he is here. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. Motorola just announced their two new phones at Lenovo Tech World. Every couple of years, phone manufacturer has to switch things up, either by innovating on some new technology or even just by fixing up their look. Samsung did that last year. They brought the new glass and metal design. LG is doing that this year, and so is HTC. They're kind of all just kind of switching it up. Motorola just barely showed their cards of their new flagship this year, and they changed both those things up. So it has a brand new look, and it also has a brand new technology implemented. One of these factors is done well and kind of good, and the other one, honestly, it's a little subjective, but it's not very good. So let's start off with the Moto Z. This is the classic Moto Z. So there's a Moto Z, and then there's a Moto Z Droid edition, which is obviously going to be your Droid. The classic Moto Z is sporting a Snapdragon 820. It's got 4 gigs of RAM in there. It powers a 5.5-inch Quad HD display. It has a 13 megapixel camera, 5 megapixel in the front, and it comes with a 2600 milliamp battery. It does use USB-C for charging, and it's still compatible with quick charging, and Motorola's always been pretty good with quick charging. It also has 32 gigs of onboard storage, which you can also expand with an SD card. The big thing with this phone is that they bring out Moto mods, which is kind of like what LG did with their friends. So it's a modular type of phone, right? So you can add things onto the back, and I'll have a picture right here kind of showing that. The design is the same for all of them. So it's kind of just magnets, and you just put it on the back. A couple different examples that they had were, one of them is kind of like shells, so you can put like different wood backs or leather backs, kind of like what they did with Motomake before, but now you actually can replace and put different ones on there. You also have a speaker from JBL, which they're selling, and a projector, which lets you project like an actual, like if you have like a display, you want to watch a movie or something. What's really important with this, and this is the one that they did good, versus what LG did this year, is that this one is going to have third-party support. They're actually doing a kind of thing where you can make your own mod, and companies can win up to $1 million as an award if they have like the most popular mod that they made. So it's really bringing in developers and manufacturers into creating these things, because if you have mods and you don't have any mods like LG, where they had only one available in the US, it's kind of useless, and it's like, why the hell did you even make it? What's also nice about the Moto mods is that it's going to be compatible with everything going on forward. So any Moto Z line going on forward, I don't know how many years, but that's what they said, going on forward, you buy this JBL speaker, and you get next year's Moto Z. You don't have to buy another JBL speaker, right? So I like that. That's really good. That's what also worried me about the G5 this year, was that this is probably not going to be the same design. Do you have any comments on the Moto mods?
I love them. I think they're cool, especially like the speaker
cool.
and like being able to do the camera and all that. Because it seems like we've had sort of a bigger push for kind of modular phones, or even just semi-modular phones, and we're making the way into semi-modular, I'd say. And
yeah.
it's so far it looks good. We'll have to see how the success rate ends up being, but so far it looks good at least.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing a good job of pushing it and marketing it. But the part where it's going to be the same for every phone going on is a kind of bad thing, because this phone is goddamn ugly. This thing is ugly. I know this is subjective. What do you think about it? Do you think it's ugly?
It's mixed.
It's
The white one is bad. I don't like the white.
The white ones. So the white front is what you're talking about. The white front has always been bad on any Motorola because they have so many sensors.
Because they have all the sensors, yeah.
So it looks like a pimple face guy, but if you get it in black, I think it would look good. But just the back is, it's tremendously bad. I don't know why. What is going on there? It's this huge thing, and if you don't have a mod or something on the back, you have this big camera module on the back.
It's huge. It's like that's the worst camera bump ever.
And if you have a Droid, if you get the Droid version, this is going to have a huge Droid branding on it. It's going to look, oh my gosh. It's just really bad.
It's not the most pleasant looking phone.
Like, it reminded me a bit of the S6 when I first saw it. And it's really thin also. It's like 5.6 millimeters.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a headphone jack. So.
It doesn't have a headphone jack. That kind of brings me to my next thing is the big camera bump. It's stupid because I wish they would just fill it out and just make it flush.
Well, I think the point too with it is like with the Moto mods, that kind of evens it out. Or it's supposed to. I mean,
yeah, but if you don't
levels
want a
it out.
Moto mod, it looks like it's a metal type of device on the back. So
Yeah,
what
it
if I
looks
don't
like it,
want
yeah.
a Moto mod and I just want to have, that metal on the back?
It's just that.
I would want just that. I go with my phone just naked all the time, and I love the feel of my phone. It kind of brings me to another thing. It's thin. It's very small battery. It's only 2600. It's like 50 milliamps bigger than the S6, and the S6 was not known for its battery, so that really worries me. They do have a mod where you can add a back onto it that does have an extra battery, but that's not the same thing as having a good sized battery already in the phone.
Well, and I think the big thing too that we'll have to see is, I mean, if you look at the spec sheet, you can see it's got a 1440p resolution on the screen, which
Gonna kill it.
that's going to take a lot. I mean, we're going to probably see the same issue we saw with the S6.
It's probably
what
not
I'm
going to last too
expecting.
long. I don't know. It's.
I think the Droid edition probably will do a lot better.
We'll get into that in just a second.
But
So it's really ugly. I honestly don't think it's very good looking. I know some people are going to love this, and I want to see it in real life before I give my final take on it, because I thought the Moto X 2014 was ugly when it first released, but that is a beautiful phone, and I still really like the design of that. Now, this also brings me to another complaint I see in forums and comments, is that people are saying, oh, why didn't they just stick with the same design from the last 4 years? Are you kidding me? You complained to Samsung that they kept the same design for 4 years, and then now you want Motorola to do the same thing? Like, I wanted them to do something different. I didn't want this, but I'm glad that they actually, changed it up, brought something new to the table, even though it's not in the best way. It's just very, I don't like the phone look, and the little, it has a little bar on the bottom that shows where the mod connects, and it's just so bad.
the bottom
So
looks
bad.
terrible. Like, looking at the picture here, all the pin connectors and the gold bar, and yeah, I mean, it's almost like the phone was stripped.
Yeah, it's stripped.
It's like there was something that's supposed to be there, and it's not. It's like it just got taken off. Yeah, just shaven off. Except they had a certain camera.
No
obviously.
dimple though, which is also, I don't care. Motorola could have kept that for the rest of their whole entire lineup forever, and I would have been happy.
I know.
Dimple
I
is
love that dimple.
prime. And then that also brings me into, there's no dimple. They do have a fingerprint sensor. It is in the front. It's a square, kind of out of place in the front, and it's right under a Moto logo, kind of like HTC has been doing. It's not pleasant in the front. It's probably better in black, but the white does not show it off very well. It's just, they could have kept it in the... I understand Moto mods, and I understand you couldn't put it back there, but ditch Moto mods and give me one in the back, because honestly, the best place if I can put a fingerprint sensor is in the back. And I will always believe that forever and ever.
Well, it's in a weird spot.
It's a weird spot. It's under a Moto logo. Put that Moto logo on the top, because the bezel looks humongous on the bottom.
I know.
Like,
well, it is humongous, and it doesn't look like
with
it.
my
It is.
Samsung, I have the logo on the top. As long as it's on the top, I don't really pay attention, right?
Yeah.
If it's on the bottom, it's where I'm looking most of the time, so it really, captures your eye. And it's like, I know this is a Moto phone if you're buying this, because you're gonna be a Moto person if you're buying this.
Well, we've always kind of been able to tell. Like, Motorola definitely has that signature look, but they usually don't mess it up. Usually, it's a good look. It's not a bad look.
Now this goes into buying it. You can't, unless you're on Verizon, which is absolutely stupid. So the Droid edition is always going to be exclusive to Verizon. The Moto Z, just regular version, is going to be exclusive until the fall, so it's probably going to be another couple months. So you can probably go check it out, Verizon. This is terrible. Who thought of this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. What is this, an active? No. this is dumb. This is just stupid. Like, you gotta sell this phone. You don't announce a phone 3 months ahead. No one is gonna care 3 months from now. What you're gonna have is you're gonna have the Note lineup out again, and you're also gonna have Nexus to compete with. No one is gonna buy this phone unless they're on Verizon and they want bloatware. Like, what? You know that's gonna have bloatware on there. Verizon's infamous with it. And it's dumb. What? Don't do that. If you're a company, you don't just say, hey, we're gonna announce this. It's only gonna be on one carrier for a long time, and then you'll get it later on when other cooler phones maybe will be coming out by then.
Don't care. They're making money regardless.
Yeah.
Now that we're looking at Lenovo trying to compete with, Google's Nexus line, and whoever carrier provides that this year, and then along with the Note 6 or 7, whatever they decide to call it. It's a bad time. It's bad marketing. It's like, weird.
What?
It's like you announced it and the hype is there. Like, I definitely am interested now. 3 months from now, my focus will completely shift. I won't care
especially
about the
tech
Motorola
market.
anymore.
Like, even LG
it's gonna
did
be so
this.
different.
LG did it like they announced it and they didn't put it out for like 1 or 2 months. And I almost forgot about that phone completely. So I mean, it's like 3 months? Are you kidding me? It's bad. Then there's also rumors that the unlocked version is not going to work on Verizon or Sprint. The Pure Edition from last year did work on Verizon and Sprint. So it was kind of the all compatible everywhere, it doesn't matter. If they do that, it's really dumb and they should not do that because it's stupid. Because then you'll have to get the Verizon version, and then if you're on Sprint, wait, why are you on Sprint anyways?
Well, I mean, here's the good thing. If we look at it this way. The Verizon version is going to come out, at a good time, and it might make sales. But technically, that is the better of the two versions.
Yeah.
We'll get into
the Droid in just a second. I got a couple more things to say here.
A couple more.
It's goddamn ugly, and I had ugly like 3 times in here. And there's no headphone jack, which me personally, I am glad. I've been waiting for the headphone jack to go away for a while.
Really?
I am not. I like my headphones. Don't get me wrong, and I use my headphone jack. But I've been waiting for them to go away for a while. You can still listen to it through Bluetooth, but any headphones from before, they just won't plug into the phone by themselves. Actually, I'm backtracking on that adapter. I think it's just towards the headphone jack.
It's different. It's weird. But I've thought about it, and I'm like, I was super against getting rid of a headphone jack at first, until I realized most people have Bluetooth now. We live in a day and age where how often are you using a cord anymore?
That's true, and your USB headphones, if you want, Bluetooth isn't the be-all, end-all. It still has its flaws. The audio quality isn't always going to be as good. The just latency, and it also just kind of breaks connection every once in a while. So it's not without flaws, and a cord fixes basically all those. USB-C proper headphones are going to be better sounding, better quality headphones as well, just because they actually have more of a power source. And the headphone jack is like technology from like the 90s. It's like the oldest technology in your phone.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been waiting for it to go for a while. I was actually surprised that Motorola was the first one to do that. I would expect someone like OnePlus, because they did the USB-C connection first.
Yeah, I was surprised too to hear that Motorola was kind of the first to.
And the reason it doesn't have a headphone jack is because it's so thin, and it's not making. No one cares. I have a S7, and it's small. Like, it's not that like thick, but it's awesome. I love it still. Like, you don't have to have thin. It's weird. But let's move on to the Moto Z Droid Edition. I think there's an even longer name for it, but it's Droid. So, same exact specs. The biggest differences for this one is it has a shatterproof display. So I'm thinking they're using the same plastic display that they used with the Turbo from last year. Basically, it's plastic, so you can't shatter plastic. And there's just kind of a film over it that gets scratched up pretty easily, which I've seen a lot. It's kind of cool. I mean, you don't shatter it, which is cool, but whatever. It also has a 21 megapixel camera in there, so it's a jump up from the 13. And the biggest part is it has a 3500 milliamp battery. I feel like this should be in the regular phone.
I do too. What surprises me is to see the same exact build, but this one's got the bigger battery.
And it's thicker, it's not as small, but
I know.
It's like, so I mean, I would, if I was gonna buy one of these phones, I'd want the Droid edition, but I'm not on Verizon, I'm not gonna get a Verizon account just for a Droid.
Exactly. It's not worth it. Like, I almost wonder what they were thinking when they did that. Like, are you making the push towards not selling your regular version and only the Verizon version? Because we'll see the Verizon version earlier.
Okay, just like I was saying before, the phone's ugly, still, it's just thicker. So you have thicker ugliness. It's still a Verizon exclusive, it's still a Droid. I mean, it's almost the exact same. It has the same problems as the first one except for the battery.
The same problems. I love how quick you are to judge this one.
It's just,
I think
I love Motorola.
I know, me too.
2014, and he has the Nexus 6 right now. Like, come on.
Motorola for so long has done everything right. They've had some of the most iconic phones I think we've ever seen in past generations. So
Like, the freaking Moto X original, that was sexy. It's like, oh, this Moto maker, it's a completely new thing, and then you have the Moto X 2014, which is improved on that, and came out with a more premium design, and then the pure edition, which was huge, which is the reason I didn't get it, but it's still, you know, a really good device still.
yeah.
And then we got this, the Moto Z. So I mean, you know, it's weird. It's funny also. Xperia switched theirs for an X, and Moto went for a Z instead. So it's kind of like, hey, let's trade off. So Moto has definitely made some changes, and honestly, I'm not a big fan. I like change, but if you do something like this, I think I'd rather sit in the same place for a while. So if they gave me kind of like an updated Pure Edition with maybe some with a fingerprint sensor in the back, I think it would have been totally fine. I wish they would have just stayed in the same place until they brought something better.
I kind of agree with what you said. They were in a good spot, and they could have stayed in that good spot, I think, for a little bit longer. Just because it's Lenovo taking the lead with the new Motorola's, which is fine, but they're making a very bold step. And I remember reading articles like a few months ago saying that they were going to try and implement some of the newest technology in their phones. And that was kind of going to be the shift of the company and the focus, but I don't know, we'll see. If it doesn't end up selling well, then it'll be weird to see what they do next. Because if this was Google who had done this, I could almost see it going over a little better because Google doesn't care as much. Like, this is not what the company relies on to make money, you know?
Yeah.
And so for them, it's not an issue, but for a company like Lenovo, it's a bold move.
Definitely.
It's something that it definitely has taken a huge step forward.
They're already not popular in the US, and it's kind of like, another thing with buying the Verizon, and it's going to be Verizon exclusive, you got to worry about updates. Motorola completely ditched the Moto X 2014 after a year and just completely stopped updates on any carrier. So it's kind of worrisome. Their track record with just warranties in general lately have not been good. So I'm kind of worried about where they're going. I'm going to have to check this one out in store when it comes out, and then I'm not going to buy it because it's going to be 3 months later and I'm going to not want it. So
customer support on this is going to have to be boss.
yeah,
They're going to need to really stand behind their people that own one of these. Otherwise, they'll totally lose their
it's going
entire
to make them or
market.
break them, honestly. Let's go on to something I didn't write that about. There's also the S7 Active just came out. I don't know if you've ever seen anything on this yet.
Yes, I've seen a lot of stuff on the S7.
It looks kind of cool. Well, I don't want to say it looks cool. I mean, it looks like a freaking Active.
I've always kind of thought that camo, it never has worked for me. But I kind of wish they would do an Active in just an all black.
Yes.
Like a stealth matte black.
That would be cool.
I've always thought that's what an Active should be.
They've always had this camo. They had that blue-white camo before, and it was ugly. So they're doing like they're doing a green camo again, and then there's like I don't know, it just doesn't look that great, just like every other Active. It's just kind of bulkier.
Yeah.
What's cool is that it does have the fingerprint sensor, which the S6 Active didn't have.
I mean, the cool thing is
Shatter-resistant display, which is pretty new. It's glass. It's not like rubber, but it's plastic. So I think that's cool. And then they also added a freaking. This is the big part, and this is the reason I actually want to talk about this. A 4,000 milliamp battery.
Well, the phone's pretty. I mean, it's pretty thick. It has the room for it.
Yes.
And then also the other big thing I'd say is this I can't imagine is an issue for most people, but the shock resistance.
Yeah.
Like it also gains, so not only is it water and dust now, but now it's shock resistant.
Or it's actually like shatter resistant. Like the display is actually shatter resistant. So it's cool. But the biggest thing, I'm like 4,000 milliamps. This is great. We're just getting bigger and bigger until we get something that will last a week, which I don't know if that'll ever happen. But
yeah. I guess we'll see. I mean, it's cool. I always like to see what they do with the active, and I've seen people that have owned them in the past, but it's not my kind of thing.
Not my thing either. It's AT&T exclusive, so bloatware and DirecTV for days. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to complain about anything, comment section, we will reply. That's about it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to see more, and we'll catch you in the next one.